Greetings, Pinacati. Thank you for attending this session. My name is Mr. De Vicente. I am the EL lead here at Pinacati Middle School. And I want to thank Mr. Yu for letting us use his room for this session of ELD-PD. So today we're going to go over ELD standards, ELD frameworks, and EL strategies for your kiddos. ELD standards, yes, don't worry, we're not going to go over all of these. It's a very large document, but if you refer to it, here's the breakdown of your ELD standards. This is grade 7, and you have your section overview in this document, and you're breaking up into 3 parts for your ELD standards, and these are broken up into strands, and they're called collaborative, interpretive, productive, structuring, expanding, connecting, and then they're broken up into the different development ranges of each strand, and depending on where your kids are or where your lessons are, your kids are either emerging, expanding, or bridging concepts and ideas. And these are all connected or correspond to the California Common Core Standards for ELA, and you can see how they're corresponding here. And that's pretty much how the ELD standards are broken up into. You have your part 3, which is for ELs 1s and 2s, which is foundational skills, and that's way down here. And you can refer to this document to see what ELs 1 and 2 need to be focusing on. There you go. That was your review of the ELD standards. Feel free to take a look at that. You also received a link to those from Mr. Tippy last week. Next is the frameworks. And what frameworks do is just go deeper into explanation and implementation of the ELD standards in your classrooms. What's cool about this document is that you get some vignettes which explain how you can implement the ELD standards into your lessons with examples. So you can take a look at these lesson samples and use them for your ELs. When you do look at these vignettes, you'll realize that a lot of the things that you do in your classroom are EL focused. So you'll see that you're already implementing all these EL standards into your lessons. Okay, that's it. We just covered the ELD standards and frameworks in a very short time. Feel free to take a look at those through the links that Mr. Tippy said, or through the screencast you can look at the standards and frameworks. Next, we're going to cover some strategies that ELs need to improve their learning. You'll realize that a lot of these things as well are already being used in your classrooms, and if you are, congratulations, you're meeting the needs of your EL students. One of the biggest strategies is critical reading, and this is also one of our AVID site team goals, is to have kids use the strategies from critical reading, which is basically numbering paragraphs, circling main ideas, and underlining details, and also going back and reviewing the note-taking during critical reading. So if you're doing this, like in this sample here, congratulations, you're meeting the EL needs. Language strips is another strategy that ELs need to develop, and here's a sample of that. And that just increased their level of thinking and responding to your questions, and also developing their own questions. So if you need a copy of this, you can email me and I'll send one over to you. Okay, so next we go to choral response. Choral response is used a lot in elementary school. A lot of times teachers will say class, and students will reply with yes, and teachers will say turn to page 25, what page, and students will respond page 25. So in middle school and high school, that was my phone, sorry. In middle school and high school, We tend to move away from this because we feel it's more elementary, but students still need this in middle school. If you are ever in class and you say, okay, students turn to page 75, and you realize that 10 to 15 students are not responding, well, choral response is a good way to get the entire class to respond and to be on task. Bell work is something that a lot of us do here at Pinacati, and it's just a way to get the students focused and get ready for class. And this also includes having the agenda during bell work, and using sentence starters as a strategy to get them to respond to your bell work is another EL strategy that's really important for them. Many times ELs will get questions like this and they'll just sit there and not respond, and they need something to jumpstart them, and sentence starters is a great way to get them going. Another EL strategy, equity cards. I know many of you already use these as well, and if you do, they're a great way to check for understanding, great way to keep your students on task because they don't know when you're going to call their name. So basically, equity cards, you just write their name in the middle, and actually they write their name in the middle, and some other likes, their sports team, some academic data if you need it, and whatever other details you want them to write on your equity cards. And these are used kind of like in elementary school. Instead of the popsicle sticks, you use equity cards. Vocabulary building is big for ELs as well as all of our students here at Pinacati. And here's a link to a whole bunch of graphic organizers if you need them. We have a whole bunch of these available for you to mix up your vocabulary development. Next is question stems, and this is very similar to our earlier strategy for AVID in levels of thinking. These are to get your students to build questions for their note-taking, and it raises the level of inquiry in all your students, and it definitely helps ELs develop their level of inquiry. So see me if you need a copy of these question stems, or email me. Sorry. And non-linguistic representations is just big words for me to say pictures. If you're delivering a lesson to your students for ELs, it's very critical for them to have visuals that go with your lessons, visuals that go with their production and their outputs of their work. That's very critical for them in terms of learning. Another EL strategy is learning logs. We use these in AVID as well. And learning logs is basically looks something like this. There's many different types of learning logs out there. You can email me and I'll send you over many different ones that you can use. This is one that looks like Cornell Note System and basically asks questions about what the students learned today. So this is one way to have ELs go back and revisit what was learned during that class period. You can also have them go back to their learning logs and review and adjust their notes. Philosophical chairs is an activity where students are divided up into two groups where they take a stand over some topic or article that the teacher has given them. The article has to be given prior to the activity. Students are allowed time to think about the article and take a stance towards it, and then they are prompted to ask questions or give their opinions on the topic, and students on one side respond to each other as they're going through their discussion. So this is a pretty cool activity. I've done it many times in my classroom, and it works really well in getting ELs to develop those language skills. So email me if you want to try this in your classroom. It's pretty cool. And that's it. I wanted to keep this PD under 10 minutes. If you have any questions, email me, and I'll be more than happy to help. I'm here to support all staff in meeting the needs of RRELs on campus. And as you know, we have about 500 of them currently, and at one time or another, most of our kids were ELs at this middle school. So that's great. Thank you, Mr. Yu, for hosting this screencast. If you need help with a screencast, you can also contact me, and I'll help you through that. So I hope this wasn't too bad, and you guys have a great day.